Have you ever found yourself kind of caught in that loop with ChatGPT? Where you're starting a brand new conversation every single time,
Huh?
and all that valuable context you just built up just sort of vanishes.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's a bit like Groundhog Day for your digital workflow, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're constantly re-explaining the background, right? Re-uploading the same files,
Yeah.
repeating preferences over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a genuine productivity drain. It really is. It's frustrating.
Hmm.
But what if there was a smarter way? A way to actually organize your AI work and consistently get really high quality results back?
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that. We're going to unpack ChatGPT projects.
Okay.
We'll look at what they are, why they're actually pretty powerful, and how you can set them up to hopefully transform your productivity.
Yeah, let's do it. We can walk through some real examples too, step by step.
Perfect. So let's unpack this. So thinking back, most of us, when we first started with ChatGPT, we probably used it like a simple Q&A tool, right?
Yeah, basically, you type a question, you get an answer, maybe a follow-up.
Exactly. But the frustration really kicks in when you move to the next task,
Hmm.
even if it's closely related.
You feel like you have to start all over.
You do. You hit that reset button. You find yourself re-explaining the whole context,
Yeah.
your business, the project, the audience you're talking to,
Re-uploading documents.
re-uploading, yeah,
Yeah.
reiterating the formatting you want. And the AI just starts completely fresh, zero memory of what you just did.
That starting from scratch problem, it's such a real bottleneck. We saw that a lot in the user feedback people shared.
Yeah.
It wastes so much time, and maybe even more importantly, it leads to really inconsistent results.
Right.
I mean, think about it. If the AI doesn't remember your brand's specific tone or your client's unique needs,
How can it possibly give you the right output every time?
exactly, it can't. And this is precisely the problem ChatGPT projects are trying to solve. They're not just, glorified folders for storage.
That's a common misconception, isn't it?
Yeah. It really is. Instead, think of them more like dedicated, intelligent workspaces,
Okay.
digital environments built specifically for that ongoing multi-step work where context is absolutely critical.
So whether you're managing, say, content creation for a client or a big marketing campaign or even writing a book,
Yeah, anything complex or ongoing.
projects aim to keep everything organized and, crucially, contextually aware.
That's the key. Every new chat you start inside a project, it's already preloaded.
How so?
It gets immediate access to all the relevant past conversations within that project, all the files you've uploaded, like brand guidelines, research docs, customer data,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe most importantly, your custom instructions,
Ah,
which
okay.
means you literally never start from zero again. Every conversation builds on that foundation.
Leading to better, more consistent results, presumably.
Way more consistent, yeah. And just a quick practical note here, based on the articles we looked at, projects are currently only for ChatGPT Plus and Pro users.
Right, so if you don't see projects in your sidebar, that's probably why.
Probably.
So, okay, beyond just saving a few clicks here and there, what's the real, core difference this brings to how we use AI day to day?
It's an intelligent workspace, no more starting over.
Got it. Let's talk practical setup then. Based on the guide, step one seems simple enough. Just creating the project.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. On the left side of your ChatGPT screen, you'll see a new project button, usually with a little plus icon.
Click that, and it kicks things off.
Yeah.
Now, this next bit seems surprisingly important, but maybe easy to overlook, naming it.
Oh, definitely. Give it a clear, descriptive name. Don't just call it Project One.
Right, so like the example, if you're Momentum Digital working for TechUp, maybe Momentum Digital Marketing for Client TechUp.
Exactly. Something
Yeah.
where you can just glance at it and know exactly what's inside. Then just click Create Project.
Okay, project created. It pops up in the sidebar. And then you mentioned a visual tip.
Yeah, a simple but helpful one. You can change the folder color. Just click the little folder icon at the top of the project page. And you can color code things. Maybe blue for client work, green for internal stuff, red for urgent tasks, whatever system works for you.
Nice visual cue.
Mhm.
And then step three is choosing the AI model.
Right. Projects let you use different models within the same workspace. You've got GPT-4o for the complex, creative stuff,
Mm-hmm.
GPT-4o Mini for maybe quicker, simpler things, and GPT-3.5 for really basic stuff.
But for most serious business tasks, like marketing.
Yeah, for that nuanced understanding and quality, GPT-4o is probably still your best bet. That's what we generally recommend sticking with for the core work in a project.
Okay, makes sense. So how does this initial setup, these first few steps, really benefit our overall workflow in the long run?
Visual cues and model choice streamline your process.
Okay, now we get to what the guides and articles really highlight as the core components. The real magic, as some put it.
Yeah, this is what turns it from just a folder into that intelligent workspace we talked about.
And that's files and custom instructions.
Exactly. The two pillars.
Let's start with files. Uploading relevant files. You said these become like a dedicated knowledge base.
Precisely. It's like giving ChatGPT its own private library just for this project. Only the relevant info.
So for that marketing project example, what kind of files are we talking about?
Okay, so for our Momentum Digital Tech Up example, you definitely want client documents.
Right.
Things like detailed target audience personas, user pain point analyses.
Market research, competitor analysis.
Absolutely. Then you layer on your brand materials, the detailed guidelines, tone of voice docs, maybe even examples of past successful campaigns.
Got it.
And don't forget product or service info, feature descriptions, pricing, technical docs maybe so the AI really gets what you're selling.
And social proof, testimonials, case studies.
Super valuable, yeah. Adds credibility. And uploading is easy. Just click Add Files, grab your documents. You can do multiple at once. Build up that knowledge base.
Okay, that's the files foundation. Now, custom instructions. You said this is where the magic really happens.
Yeah, I think so. This is like giving ChatGPT its detailed brief, almost its personality for this specific project.
So what makes for great custom instructions? It can't just be helpful. Oh.
No, definitely not. You need specifics. First, assign it a clear role. Tell it who it should be, an expert consultant, a creative copywriter.
Okay.
Then, specify the response format you want. Define the tone and style really clearly. Include any unique guidelines just for this project.
Reference points, too, like specific authors or styles to emulate.
Yeah, exactly. So for our Tech Up B2B example, the instructions might be something like, core role, you are a growth marketing consultant for B2B tech startups.
Okay, very specific.
Focusing on attracting technical audiences. For style, inspired by Seth Godin, professional, tech-savvy, focus on benefits, not just features.
Nice format.
Structured recommendations, use bullet points, headings. Always suggest a title and a call to action for content.
And the business context.
Client is Tech Up, SaaS for developers. Target, devs, tech leads, CTOs. Goal, increase trial signups. Avoid cliche marketing jargon. Be authentic.
That's pretty detailed.
It needs to be. You know, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes.
Yeah, where it kind of loses focus.
Exactly. It starts to wander off from the original instructions over a long chat. Getting these custom instructions really dialed in it's an art, but when you nail it, wow, it makes such a difference.
It really sounds like these two things, the file providing the knowledge, the instructions providing the personality and direction, are the absolute heart of it. Why are they so fundamentally critical together?
They provide the core brain and personality for your AI.
Okay, let's make this concrete. A real-world use case, like the ones in the studies, say creating an outline and intro for a technical blog post.
All right.
For our Tech Up example, maybe the task is detailed outline and intro for automating your API testing workflow with Tech Up's new feature. So instead of just that generic prompt, you'd leverage the project context.
Right.
Specify the target devs, QA engineers. Address their specific pain points with manual testing.
Introduce the new feature as the solution.
Right. Build credibility. Maintain that tech-savvy tone from the instructions. And maybe specify the format detailed outline with H2SH3s and like a 150, 200-word intro.
And with a well-set-up project, the output should be pretty impressive. You'd get that detailed outline, H2s like the problem with manual API testing, H3s like time drain, scaling issues, and then a solid intro, something like, if you're a developer, you know the pain. Hours on repetitive API tests. It's a bottleneck. What if you could automate it? TechUp's new auto test feature makes that real. You know, something engaging like that.
And it works well because the AI has all that context from the start.
Exactly. It knows the audience, the product, the desired tone from the files and instructions, so it maintains consistency, delivers professional quality, it has guardrails.
That's pretty efficient. Okay, now let's take that blog post and promote it.
Okay.
Use case #2, a LinkedIn post series.
Good one.
Now this is a related task, but different social media, not long-form content. So key step. Start a new chat within the same project, right?
Crucial step.
Yep.
Keeps things organized. But you still get all that lovely context. TechUp, the product, the audience, the tone, it's all still there.
Okay, so the prompt for the LinkedIn series might detail, say, a 3-post strategy.
Yeah, like, post 1 is a hook about the pain points. Post 2 introduces the blog feature with benefits and a CTA. Post 3 offers social proof or a future vision.
Makes sense. And it would generate those posts.
Yep, like Post 1 might be. Still manually testing APIs, flaky tests, regressions. It's a productivity killer. There is a better way. TechUp's working on something. Stay tuned. With tailored hashtags, too.
And the power here is that consistency.
Absolutely. The project continuity. The whole series sounds like it came from the same brain as the blog post. Unified voice, coherent message, totally brand aligned with TechUp's goals in the project.
Wow.
Think about scaling that unified voice. Whoa, imagine scaling that across hundreds of campaigns without rebriefing every time.
That's the real power. So it's not just faster content. How does this process really save us significant time and, frankly, mental energy?
AI understands your brand, generating consistent, tailored content faster and smarter.
Okay, so to really get the most out of this, we need to avoid some common mistakes. Based on what we've seen in forums and guides, what are the big pitfalls?
I think the biggest one is just treating projects like basic folders. Creating one, but then not actually using the files and custom instructions.
Right. If you don't feed it that context, it's basically just an empty box. No different from a regular chat.
Exactly. It defeats the whole purpose. Another one is uploading too many irrelevant files.
Information overload for the AI.
Yeah, basically. If you just dump everything in there, it kind of dilutes the context. The AI struggles to figure out what's actually important for this specific task.
So be selective. Curate the knowledge base.
Definitely. Choose only the critical, relevant docs for that project's goal.
And we absolutely have to talk about vague custom instructions again. That seems like a major issue.
Huge. Just saying be professional or write well, that gives the AI almost nothing to work with.
Useless.
Pretty much. You need those hyper-specific details. The role, the audience, the tone, the business context, like we talked about. Precision is key.
Got it. Anything else?
Yeah. One more big one. Trying to do too many different things in the same chat window.
The kitchen sink approach.
Exactly. Don't ask it to write a blog post, then immediately draft an email, then do social posts all in one continuous thread.
Why not?
Because the context gets muddled. Each task really benefits from a focused conversation. So start a new chat within the project for each distinct task, even if they're related.
Keeps things clean and effective.
Right. Otherwise, it's like trying to bake a cake, fix a car, and write a novel all in the same kitchen sink. It just gets messy and nothing turns out quite right.
That kitchen sink analogy definitely sticks.
Yeah.
So if there's one big takeaway for listeners to avoid these traps, what is it?
Be precise with context and keep your AI tasks focused.
Okay, one area of confusion that often pops up is the difference between ChatGPT projects and custom GPTs. Let's try and clarify that.
Yeah, good idea. They sound similar but serve different purposes. Think of custom GPTs as like specialized tools.
Right.
They're built for specific, often repetitive tasks. They can have a unique personality, they're easily shareable, and they can even connect to external things like APIs.
Right, more like single-purpose apps.
Yeah.
And projects.
Projects are more about organizing ongoing, evolving work. They're your personal workspaces. Their main job is storing files, remembering instructions, and keeping that rich chat history going over time for a broader initiative.
So give us the when to use which breakdown.
Okay. Use projects for managing complex client work, multi-step content creation, needing a consistent voice, or any long-term thing where context builds up.
And custom GPTs.
Use custom GPTs when you want to build a specific repeatable tool, like an expert ad copywriter GPT that always uses a certain framework, or an AI assistant for your team that does one specific task often. They're for narrow, specialized capabilities.
Gotcha. But they aren't mutually exclusive.
Not at all. And this is where it gets really powerful. You can absolutely use them together.
How would that work?
Well, our agency, Momentum Digital, could use a project for all the work for the TechUp client blogs, social strategy, everything. But they could also have a custom GPT, maybe called LinkedIn Post Optimizer, that the whole marketing team uses across all clients, including TechUp, just to refine those posts.
So the custom GPT is a tool used within or alongside the broader project structure.
Exactly. It lets you layer workflows in a really advanced way.
So these two powerful features, projects and custom GPTs, they can actually work together, complementing each other.
Absolutely. They complement each other perfectly for advanced workflows.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What does this all really mean for your day-to-day workflow with AI? What are the big ideas?
Well, first, I'd say setup is everything. Really take that time up front to configure your project with detailed instructions and truly relevant files.
That's the foundation, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And that leads to the second point. Context is king.
Mm-hmm.
The more relevant, thoughtful context you provide, the better and more precise your results will be. The AI just gets smarter about your needs.
And third,
Organization pays off. A good project structure isn't just about tidiness. It genuinely saves hours and massively improves consistency, reduces that mental load.
right. And finally,
Always be improving. Your projects shouldn't be static. Review them, optimize them. They're living workspaces, right? They should evolve.
yeah.
This whole feature, it really feels like a leap. Moving from just basic AI chats to something much more like sophisticated, context-aware collaboration.
The time you invest in really getting the hang of ChatGPT projects today, it seems like it will genuinely pay off down the line. Great. Maybe the best advice is just start small.
Totally. Start with one project right now. Upload just a few key files. Write your first clear set of instructions.
And just see the difference it makes.
Exactly. Experience it. Your productivity and, honestly, the quality of what you create, it probably won't be the same.
Yeah.
This feels like the point where you shift from just talking to AI to really truly collaborating with it.
Reflective, calm.
Yeah.
Just consider how much more deeply the AI can understand you, understand your goals as they evolve when you actually give it a dedicated, persistent home for your work. 2 sec silence.
Oh, it's okay.
After new music.